absolutely horse crap. That is what's going on with the former international president, Tommy O, and what the government is putting him through just because of the association that he has with the Outlaws Motorcycle Club. You know, Tommy O doesn't have a blip on his freaking criminal record. He's never been charged, never been to jail, none of that stuff. But because he was with the Outlaws, now all of a sudden he's in bed with the mafia and all that kind of stuff. Now they're saying that he has a part in a witness's death. One witness that actually was depressed, suicidal, known that she was having all kinds of issues. And now the federal government is throwing Tommy O under the bus. And that is a scary thing in this society where the government can just throw up allegations, have no basis in reality whatsoever. If you don't think it could happen to you, you're nuts. Unless there's some kind of reform, unless there is some kind of pushback against these tactics that the Department of Justice, the FBI, ATF, all of them are using against MCs, you're going to be in a world of hurting. And I just thought we needed to highlight this case right now. Tommy was in an accident in the early 2000s. It actually costed him his leg. It costed him his first wife's life. And instead of going on disability, he decided he wanted to work for a living, which, you know, a lot of people in his position would have just laid back and gave up, but he didn't after that kind of trauma. And he went and was a general manager for the Pharaoh's Gentlemen's Club. Now, it was owned by Peter Geraci. He is an associate of the Buffalo crime syndicate. But at the same time, does that make Tommy a part of it? And I say no. Because all he's trying to do is earn a living. You know, you'd think that if he was into all kinds of stuff, he would have been busted earlier or all that kind of stuff. But with the feds, it's like, oh, wait a second here. You had people that were with her when she died that knew you or was in a club with that was in a support club with you. So you had to have ordered this crap. You know what? It does. It bangs your ass when you hear some of the allegations that they're saying against Tommy O, because let's face it, if this was a star witness for you, then why wasn't she in protective custody? Why was she allowed to just go all over the place? That's something the government needs to answer, but we're going to get more into this. Okay, I'm going to go to a video that is actually going to put this more in perspective. That way you can see what I'm talking about. It gives the whole background, basically, of what they are trying to charge Tommy O with. And again, I think everybody should be really peed off at this one, if you know what I mean. So let's get into this sucker. Okay, now this is from September 29th, a couple months ago. And before I covered this story, I wanted to really see what was going on with it and what exactly the allegations are against Tommy O. And I found this one, and it's like it was a freaking Hollywood movie how the feds are trying to write this one. I think this lady died because they're inept. If she was supposedly a big witness against the mob, they would have had her under lock and key. They screwed up. She was suicidal. And you know what? Fentanyl is a very bad drug. Actually, it was designated a weapon of mass destruction. So she got her hands on it, and we're going to go from there. Let's take a look.
Among the defendants is the death of Crystal Quinn. The former Pharaoh's dancer who struggled with drug addiction and mental health issues was expected to be a star witness.
Now, what was that about? Really? What was that about? You had to put lines? Really? You had to put lines in the freaking video. That has nothing to do with this story. But that is just how mainstream media really is. Making sure everything's correct here. It is. Using a different system here. Let's keep going.
Against Grace at his trial last year, but before it began, she was found dead in the Wellsville apartment of co-defendant Simon Gogolak. The government alleges the 6 men were part of a conspiracy to deliver a lethal drug overdose to Quinn and try and make it look accidental. Gerace's lawyer, Mark Foti, has moved to be allowed to look at her probation file for any exculpatory evidence. In court, Foti noted Quinn was on probation for using drugs and presumably would have been found in violation, inferring she was so desperate to stay out of prison she might have said anything about Gerace the government wanted her to.
Isn't that what it is? We see time and time again how people want to work off their dastardly deeds and push them onto somebody else. So the government grabs these weak people and uses that against them. Hey, man, you're facing 15-something years, but if you talk, we'll let you off of this stuff. That right there is what he's alleging.
Gerace has told us he believes the government leaned on his former friend Quinn to get her testimony and said as much again today when he returned to jail.
100%. Yes, they threatened her with 15 years in jail. She was very fragile.
Foti is also asking to see Quinn's medical, pharmacy, mental health records, and notes from her counselor. Here, he suggested Quinn's mental state would have had bearing on whether this was a homicide or something else, such as a suicide or an accidental death due to her escalating drug use. Another co-defendant is Tom Ermin, the wheelchair-bound reputed head of the Outlaws Motorcycle Club and who worked at Pharaoh's. After his home was searched, prosecutors added weapons charges because he had rifles as well as recreational marijuana. His attorney, George Biscotto.
Those were not illegal guns, by the way. They weren't illegal. Hunting rifles, and you know what? This is New York, and I'm surprised it even happened. But just because he had marijuana in there, which, would have been great for his situation, losing a leg, it would have helped with the pain, but the feds don't care about that kind of stuff.
Wants evidence from the search dismissed, saying of his client, he has no criminal record. The only allegation is that he's a member of the Outlaws. All they've got is guilt by association, which should not give rise to probable cause. Getting back to Quinn, prosecutors raised privacy concerns regarding Quinn's sensitive personal records, but courts have previously ruled one's right to privacy expires when they do. In other words,
so basically, they don't want to get caught with their pants down right there. So now they're trying to make it where they can't get her records, but those records are going to probably show that she was in depression and that she was under intense stress. And, we've seen it a million times where people go that route and just, hotball themselves. But because, again, that she was with guys that were bikers, now all of a sudden it's Tommy's fault. Unbelievable what has happened to him, man. Unbelievable.
The release of such information about a dead person can do them no harm. No firm ruling today, but the judge indicated that those records may be released, but to Gerace's attorney only, under a condition that he not even reveal to his client what they contain.
On your side in the newsroom, Dave McKinley, Channel.
Unbelievable. So that is what Tommy O is facing right now. Going through the article, basically Peter Gerace was back in court. He stands charged. It's like they didn't get enough blood out of Peter. with this conspiracy to silence a witness. Now they're saying he's a part of it too. Tommy O's a part of it. Everybody's a part of it because of their idiotic moves. Again, I can't even comprehend if this was supposed to be a government witness. What the hell was she doing walking around and not in PC? Anyway, prosecutors allege the defendants are tied in one fashion or another. One fashion or another. Really? That's what we have in this country now? To the death among the defendants and the death of Crystal Quinn. Now, she was a dancer at the club that Tommy managed. However, Quinn was found dead of a fentanyl overdose. Now, you know how quick people can overdose on fentanyl? It don't take much, I can tell you that. Now, the government, because they lost their star witness, alleged 6 men were a part of the conspiracy to deliver a lethal drug overdose, something out of the movies, man. She was on probation for drug-related charges and presumably would have been found guilty or in violation. The attorney feared Quinn had been so desperate to stay out of prison, which a lot of people are. 15 years is a lot of prison time, especially for a woman. She would have said anything and everything about Geraci the government wanted her to. And if you watch biker news or any news for any type of length, you see that's the common denominator with these feds. He also went on to say she committed suicide as a way to cope with the weight of the pressure brought by the government, which they will, and repeated the claim after he returned to jail following Monday's court session. Now, going into Tommy's stuff, his property was searched following 2 meetings between he and Geraci when Geraci was being held in Niagara County Jail, which, why did they meet? Well, Tommy was the general manager of Pharaoh's, which was owned by Geraci. So, hey, I want to know how my business is going. That's when they found, prosecutors searched the home, found recreational marijuana. Isn't it legal in New York? I don't know. I know it is in Illinois. So anyway, there is no smoking gun as a result of that meeting, who said all his client, he has no criminal record. And he's correct. The only allegation is that he's a member of the Outlaws. All they've got is guilt by association, which should not give rise to probable cause, which I don't think so either. Let's see here. However, in their earlier opposition to providing the defense access to unredacted search app, they don't even want to show them anything. That's how bad the government's case is. If lawyers agree not to disclose the contents redactions to their clients. Yeah. It's unbelievable. And then they talk about an interview that the only one that Tommy O's gave, and that was to us at Insane Throttle when the COVID stuff came out. So what do you think? Should guilt by association be a reason why the feds can lock you up, give you all kinds of bogus charges, don't want to share anything as far as the search warrants or anything to have to do with the mental stability of their star witness? I don't know. Let me know in the comments section. One thing I do know, that this is a horrible case of government trying to lock somebody up that has no criminal record whatsoever. All he was a member of the Outlaws. That was their claim to fame against Tommy. I don't know, man. I think it's horrible. I think it's something that people shouldn't put up with any longer, because we know how nasty or how corrupt The FBI has shown itself, the DEA, all the federal agencies, how corrupt they really are, and the extent they will go to try to get a conviction against somebody. Let me know in the comments section what you all think about this. Don't forget to join members only, baby. I'm putting out about a video a week for our members, so check that out. We'll catch you later. Rock on.
Join the Insane Throttle Members Only Club on YouTube or Spotify and receive exclusive content. Your membership in the Throttle Club helps keep the show going strong.